There have been some headlines this week regarding the Duchess of Sussex. I want to get your thoughts on this. So she was pictured wearing, she posted a picture on Instagram of herself wearing a Northwestern University jumper. So there were accusations of almost cosplay, whether she was dressing up or wearing clothes that were connected to Princess Diana, because in the 90s, Princess Diana was wearing the same. Were you there?
Yeah.
She was wearing the same jumper.
Yeah.
And what do you think of these accusations? Is it real?
I mean, I can't imagine she's studying to that extent, but I mean, I think that's more like probably a features department have found the two pictures and put it together. But no, I mean, one thing I would say about Meghan is she always looks terrific. I think in everything she wears, and she's really together, and I think that she looks good, and nobody can really criticise her for that. And I don't think she's really out to try to emulate Diana. I mean, otherwise there were some pretty extraordinary fashions back then, I can assure you. So I think you look pretty strange wearing some of the things that Diana wore with the shoulder pads, which you could barely get through a door.
Well, Rob mentioned, you mentioned there about, it's a featurey type thing. A lot of picture editors have gone through after this Northwestern University photo and said, oh, well, she's worn similar dresses on this day to Diana. There's a Versace dress, there's a Catherine Walker dress, there's all these kind of items where they have worn. But what do you think about this, Emily? Because Meghan, to give her credit, she did go to Northwestern University.
She did, so she has a very strong right to wear that sweatshirt.
Probably
more so than any of us. Yeah, exactly.
And more than Diana, who didn't go to university.
Yeah, look, it's a tricky one, isn't it? Because on the one hand, it has been a huge media moment for her. It's drawn a huge amount of attention, which you might argue the week before her show launch is only a good thing.
You cynic.
But I don't think it's that clear cut. I think, she, as I say, she's an alumna of Northwestern. She might literally just be proud to wear their sweater.
Yeah, that's right.
I suppose there's only a certain amount of clothes out there for women to wear when they're pictured every day or every couple of weeks.
Yeah, I've always thought this, even back in the day when I remember Princess Diana having a go at me because when she'd get off the plane in Angola,
you're wearing the same dress every time.
We would say to her, what jeans are these? Are they, Armani jeans? And she'd say, I'm not a clothes horse. And it was more, it wasn't with the press office, it was with her. She was quite furious about it. But then of course we just wrote exactly what she was wearing. But the point of it is, it does strike me that nobody has a go at William when he's wearing the same jacket. I mean, the reality is, they can't have that many clothes that they've got to wear. It'd be a vast wardrobe that they've got to wear if they've got to change clothes every time they go to a job. It does seem... I know that's not exactly what you want to hear in Hello Magazine.
No, well, look, we had a lot of fun with the fact that the Princess was wearing a jacket yesterday that she first wore 18 years ago, I believe, when she was first dating, or I think just had broken up with Prince William. So, she's definitely following the King's ideals of sustainability, re-wearing, recycling.
But it's great after 18 years, you can still fit in a jacket that you wore 18 years ago for a start.
You haven't got at me then, Matt.
No, I'm coming to myself. But it's this idea, and it's got a bit of a role this week that Meghan is somehow, somehow styling herself on Princess Diana and maybe manipulating Harry. I don't particularly buy it, but I was just wondering if my two experts think that this has any legs, that she's been doing this.
And the more it's written, the more she probably would think, oh, this is not a bad idea. I'm getting good media publicity with it. But I can't imagine that she's that desperate that she's going to be doing that.
I don't think so. And I think also, it's fair to say that comparisons have been drawn between some of the things that Catherine wears and the late Princess of Wales as well, because sometimes style emulates something from 30 years ago, whether it's deliberate or not.
But I mean, Diana was such a fashion icon as well. She was, when there was very little social media, she was on the covers of all the magazines, and it was part of the whole image, and something she didn't like actually towards the end. But that's why I think we always sort of hark back to those days probably because of the amount of copies that it shifted, I would think, to be cynical.
And Diana set the standard for fashion
she did,
anyway.
She really did.
So, you could only end up copying her.
She changed the way people would dress. I mean, that said, you only have to look at back through time, and Princess Margaret was seen as a fashion icon. Her Queen Elizabeth herself was seen as a fashion icon in a different way. So yeah, it's just the way it is. But I think Diana in particular was always in the news for what she was wearing and always looked pretty terrific, I think.
Okay. Now, I don't know if you've got on your phone, but sometimes on my iPhone it pops up memories from like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, or a year ago. And just the other day, we're talking about Catherine, Princess of Wales, and everything that she's doing. A video popped on my phone that was recorded 3 years ago. It was in Denmark. We were in Copenhagen, and she went to the Lego Foundation Play Lab. I just want to, if we can play the video. So she's at the top of this slide. And not only does she emerge happy and smiling, I think she's got heels on, right? And walks around her feet in front of all the watching media. Now, that reminded me of my favourite ever Princess of Wales moment. And I was wondering if now's the time where I feel that she's come back. What do you think is your favourite ever Princess of Wales moment?
I mean, there's so many. That quite a few. One that just leapt out to me then, seeing that again, is her sort of dissolving in laughter. Was on the Isle of Wight a few years ago after the first King's Cup regatta, and she was up in the clubhouse with Princess Charlotte, and they were coming down a stairwell. I think she pointed out her father in the crowd, Michael Middleton, and Charlotte immediately started pulling faces and sticking her tongue out. And there was just this brilliant moment from her mother of looking like slightly appalled, knowing that there were loads of cameras on this situation, but then also she just couldn't help laughing, and it was relatable to me as a mum, but also just really funny. She's obviously got a really good sense of humour.
I like the classic moments when you're commentating on telly and things like the kiss on the balcony for the wedding. But I think for me it's Louis when he was playing up and gave was doing all this sort of stuff to his mother and then being passed along to the king. I just thought that sort of humanised the whole situation when you've got these, with George and Charlotte always thought these perfect children. And he got Louis, who decided that he was going to give them a hard time. And I thought it was great that he was passed along to his grandfather.
And every parent is watching that going, doesn't matter if you're a princess.
That's you are one of us.
And she just looked like, and she just, she looked, I can't deal with this now. It's not, and knowing that the difference being everybody's got their cameras over the world are watching,
And also any element of her being competitive with William, that's always really good value because they do tend to, get quite spirited, don't they?